Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the week ahead in RTS. This has seemingly become a series on my channel where I've done this a couple of weeks in a row. I don't know if I'm going to do this every single week, but definitely when there's stuff to highlight I will do a video like this. I think this is pretty useful for people who have less time and just want a quick roundup rather than detailed look at events and stuff like that, which I completely understand. I will try and link to stuff when I have already done detailed reviews and intros and previews of stuff, but for this it's just going to be a quick overview. We're going to be looking at the calendar for the week ahead, what events we've got currently running and starting, what tournaments we can expect for the rest of the week, any important news or details that you need to actually pay attention to this week, and a couple of predictions because we are coming close to the end of a couple of events, so potentially some new stuff on the horizon. But first up, we're going to look at the calendar, and as you can see, we have got the Haunted Skirmish well underway. We're about at the halfway point now, so with the skulls drops increased in Onslaught, you should have a good idea of where you're going to be at the end of the event. I like the fact that there's been quite a lot of rewards for faction-based missions. That has actually been quite a nice bonus. Hunter's Prey, same sort of situation, has just continued on the side. Initially, Hunter's Prey roadmap was extremely strong, and I think a lot of people did have issues with it. They did make the roadmap a little bit easier, and I think they sent out some compensation. Everyone should have got like a rabbit and some resources in their inbox. The roadmap has also been made significantly easier on the last stage of the second act. We do have a brand new event starting up on Tuesday, which is called Road to Torment. I did do a bit of a more detailed breakdown of this event, and pretty much the same thing popped up in the video that has always popped up in faction assault events, where it's always the fear that potentially you're going to be competing against your own faction. I did do a poll on my channel, so I want to thank you very much if you did vote on this poll. And it says, do you think you should compete with your own faction for event rewards in Faction Assault, or work together to all get the same reward? And it is very much a one-sided vote, with 88% of people of the 500 that have voted so far thinking that everyone should get the same reward. And pretty much all the comments are basically saying it's a faction event, you should be sharing with your faction. It's exactly how it should go. So we'll have to wait and see how it's implemented this time around, but it's always the fear in Faction Assault that it's going to be this way because we just had it that many times in the past. We do also have a login event starting on the 27th. Again, I broke it down in a more detail in a combo video with Road to Torment and the Halloween login event. And it does go from the 27th to the 31st, and you get quite a reasonable amount of trainers, honestly. It starts off a bit slow, but finishes with a nice little flourish. It goes up to Benny's and Bernadette's, worth checking out for sure. And make sure you log in and check your offer section to get those rewards on a daily basis. And that's pretty much it for this week's events. And as you can see, Hunter's Prey is going to be finishing just into the next week, 2 days into the next week on the Tuesday. So we'll potentially have a new event start next week on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And like I said, with Haunted Skirmish, it is progressing very quickly. And at the end of next week, there's barely going to be a week left. So we're going to be back into another multi-week event, potentially another character on the horizon. And I'm actually kind of interested to see what they're going to bring to the table. But do give me your thoughts in the comments about a potential future multi-week event character. Now, as we move on to the tournaments, we have got Alpha and Nor as the card rewards, and this is a really good week of cards. Alpha and Nor are great characters. Alpha is going to be the character that you receive at every single tier, and Nor is only going to be if you finish in the top 10 for solo events, and I think the top 4 or 5 for faction events. I'm not 100% certain. You do get less cards of Nor, but honestly, if you haven't got Alpha already, I'd say she's probably better off picking her up because there's not much between these two characters in terms of power, but you're going to get more cards of Alpha. And honestly, I think she's a great character. I've had her for a little while now. However, Scopely definitely need to fix the bug with her when she is tier 4. As you can see, she looks like she's tier 1 right now. And if I hit view max, she goes to tier 4, where she looks much better. It's a bug when she holds a katana. For whatever reason, this was highlighted by Dimas from the community, and ever since he said it, I can't unsee it. So it definitely needs to get fixed. She looks much better with the visuals of a tier 4. And for whatever reason, it's only when she holds his katana, no other weapon. For instance, if I put Lee's axe in her hand, it's absolutely fine. So back onto the tournaments, there are going to be 3 level ups, 2 solo and 1 faction, and this is where you can get the Alpha and Nor cards. There are also going to be the other special tournaments, the Dark Harvest. It's going to be a solo raid tournament. Those are going to drop skulls. I'm not sure if the increased skull drop rate is going to come into the raid tournament or not. We'll have to wait and see. And then we have a solo Haunted Road event, but this is your chance to get some more tombstones, and I did really like the fact that there was a reduced amount of stages in the last Haunted Road. As much as doubling the energy requirement and doubling your max energy and then halving the recharge time didn't make any difference at all, the fact that the actual amount of stages you had to do was reduced really did make a difference. It was actually one of the more enjoyable SR tournaments that I've had in a while. Now moving on to the end of the week, and the last event is going to be Cross-Region War. This is going to be a War of Champions, the second qualifier in 1A region. So if you are in 1A and you still want to qualify, you're going to have to hit hard. There was a list published of the top 100 from Qualifier 1. I'm not sure why they did top 100, because if you basically adjust a bit outside the top 50 who qualify, you're most likely not going to qualify. I think that the 100th place had like 4 million and 50th place had like 8. So you're never going to get that much score. You're never going to get that much score to catch up. So it's unfortunate, but we'll scroll through. You might see your faction name here. I'm sure you and your faction already know this if you are aiming to qualify. The top 50 factions are the ones that actually will qualify, and as you can see, when we get to 50th, you'll see the score line of the 50th place faction is 8.4 million, and then if we go all the way down to 100th, you see the scores start to trail off quite heavily, and it goes down to 4 million or so. So that's an issue. I don't know why they published the top 100. I think maybe it's just a bit of a shout out, but because there's such limited qualifiers, if you haven't got, I would say, more than 7 million, it's going to be hard to make up more than 1 million points, honestly. Now, the way the qualifications will finish is they'll add your qualifier score 1 to your qualifier score 2, add them together, and the top 50 will obviously qualify for War of Champions, which will be taking place on the weekend of November the 14th. So that's it for the events and the tournaments. However, there is a little bit extra on the Tuesday or very early hours on the Wednesday if you are in Europe. The War Depot is going to be switching, and also the War Stash is going to be expiring. Now, when it comes to the stash, when this expires in 2 days and 10 hours from when I made this video, so will your tokens that you need to pull. As it was shown on Discord, it said, do War Stash tokens expire? Yes, they do. Make sure you use them before you lose them. So pretty straightforward. Use them, get some trainers. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There is some food, which is not as great, but there is a lot of trainers in here, so get your hands on what you can get your hands on, basically. Now, when it comes to the War Depot, which also resets in 2 days and 10 hours, these tokens do not reset. As it says, do War Depot tokens expire? No. War Depot tokens will persist through the depot refresh. This was said when the War Depot was originally announced, but we should see some refresh of the cards. I think I'm going to make an extra video sort of hoping and predicting what we could see here and the sort of things that I want to see. But this depot should expire and refresh on the Tuesday, and we'll have more information about what we can expect in here then. So other than that, for the week, we do have the Battle Pass going into week 3 with the new missions dropping on the Monday. I'll be doing a stream that night as well. So if you want to tune in to see the Monday Madness, Monday streams are always good fun. Hope to see you there. If not, have a good week and have a nice spoopy weekend with Halloween on the Saturday. That is the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.